B'siyata Dishmaya, we continue. Have everybody a piece about yesterday? But to the first klal, the Shulchan Aruch brings the Ramah, the first the Rambam, is a Shivisi Hashem Nevitomid, uklal Godol Batoiro U'Ma'alas HaTzadikim Oich Min HaSholekim. Shivisi Hashem Nevitomid is a klal Godol Batoiro U'Ma'alas HaTzadikim. So it says here, so first thing is, like I say, is a klal godol. And we say, zeh todos odom, it's a klal godol. So shivisi Hashem Nevitomid is a klal godol. It means klal, every klal has protein, has parts. You close the door there? The door. Shlomo, תזכור את המפריע, הסגור. כלל גודל. So here the big חידוש is, הוא כלל גודל בתורה ובמיילס הצדיקים. אשר הולך לפני אלוהיקים. People want to go with the ways of Hashem. So this is the כלל גודל to put Hashem in front. Now comes the Ramah, it being the Shem the Rambam, it gives you the gather how you do Shivisa Shadik Tommy. So everybody thinks you have to put the name. And I said, no, this tells you different. He says like this. What? Yeah, I know, but this, I mean in the Ramah Pashut, without that. Any Shivas Odom, I used to know people put the names, everything, it was not good, we lose it, is the problem. But he says like this: any shivas odom with noiso, vasoko vulevado beisa ki shivose noiso soko melagon. You have to put first the concept again that you're sitting alone in your house and sitting in front of a king is not the same sitting. This is the first concept. You see, people, if a person is only I and I myself, he doesn't see only himself, he doesn't have Hashem. The picture Shivisa Hashem told me, is sitting in front of the king. But if you only think about me and my desires, my thing, myself, and only I see myself, you don't see Hashem. You don't see Hashem. So you don't see no king, no nothing. So, Shivisi Hashem Nevitomid is the first thing you have to go out of yourself. And know you have to go out the ani of yourself and picture you're standing in front of Hashem. In front of Hashem is what? Ein yeshivas odom v'tnoiso v'asoko u'levado v'beisa. It's not alone. Ke yeshivosoi. Like it's not the same like you sitting in front of Melagon. It's not the same. Sitting in front of the king, sitting alone, it's not the same. It's not the same. It means that Yirat Shamayim tells you're sitting in a house, and a house is not the same sitting in front of the king or sitting in front of yourself. Not the same. Maybe it looks, people think, and a lot of people sitting in the house, they take care of the physical house. Physical house doesn't mean they see Hashem. Think about doing it beautiful, do everything, maybe it's for themselves, they don't see Hashem. You see Hashem, you see Hashem. And you stay in front of the king. What it means, but you have to know, it's not the same way sitting, it's not the same actions, how you act, and the business you do, it's not the same. It's not the same. Then he says, V'lo diburoi, and also when you talk, v'achovas piv, when you open your mouth, kirtzoinoi, how you want, v'u anshe beis, sit in front of the house, ukroivo, in front of your relatives, kedibura, like the dibur Moshe Melech. It means not only that you're sitting and your action and your business is not the same as sitting alone or sitting in front of the king. Also, when you talk and you open your mouth, where your family is sitting in the table, sitting in the lobby, sitting in the couch, is not the same, and the relative is sitting not the same, talking like they're sitting the same, not the same at all. In front of the king is not the same at all. So if it's not the same, so that's the first step. So what is Shivisi Hashem Nigdiktomi tells you? Sitting in front of Hashem, sitting in front of the king. First picture king. Not picture, you're not talking about the picture Hashem. The first step is knowing sitting in front of a king and sitting alone in the house is not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. So mainly is, if it's not the same, you cannot act the same. In front of the king and in front of Allah, not in front of the king, it's two different actions. Two different sitting, two different actions, business, talking, family, everything is different. That himself, knowing he's sitting in front of the king, that himself has to know you cannot be the same act like yourself. It's not doiming. I mean, it's not comparison. It's not comparison. If it's not hinekach. Not comparison. Not comparison, not the same. So, this is the first thing in logic you have to know. So that himself has to get a person to realize this is the first step of Shivisa Shanigin. How you do? This is the cloud of the Torah of all the tzaddikim. You know what is the cloud of the tzaddikim? Rab Chaim Kanievsky, Rab Shach, the Stipler, you have here the Chofetz Chaim, Kivi Eiger, Borber, Chaim Alevi, Rashbo, Ritvo, Ramban, and Bechol Abbas, all the tzaddikim. Baba Sali, all the tzaddikim. Avad Yosef, Ben Ishchai, all the tzaddikim. What is the cloud? What is the cloud of all the Torah, of all the malas of tzaddikim? He gives you a cloud of all the tzaddikim. All the tzaddikim, you take all the tzaddikim. From the time of Noach, his called tzaddik, till today, what is the common denominator of all the tzaddikim? What do they count all the tzaddikim? The general rule is, Klan means the rule. What is the rule is? Shivisi Hashem Nidita. Pana of Hashem. So we want to be tzaddikim. We have obligation to be a tzaddik in the ways of Hashem. Comes the Ramah, gives us maybe it brings from the Rambam. He gives you, so listen, I'm giving you a rule. And this rule will help you to be all the Torah. This is the first halakha in Shulchan Aruch. Will help you for all the Torah, and will help you to know all the ma'alot that tzaddikim are going to follow Hashem. This is the rule. The rule is Shivisi Hashem Nidiktomit. Ze haklal. So what, and that gives you the gather. What is the Geda Davar? He says you have to picture sitting in front of a king and not sitting alone in the house. Suddenly the king, you act doing it, you have a page? Sure. Sitting in front of the king, you act one way. Sitting in the house is different. So also here, it gives you a Geda. Shivas onoso besa ulevado bebeis. You're alone in the house. So first thing, you're alone, and then you have in front of people, with people. Alone, in front of the king, you act different. Alone, with your family, in front of the king, you act different. It means the picture put in front of Hashem, the picture in front of you. This is the cloud of when you're in your house, alone with the family. This is, you have to put Hashem in the picture. And I want to say, I like the Magdi it a different Geda. V'chol drochecha dei. All the ways you go, knowing Hashem. So here you have a situation. Everything, what it means knowing Hashem, and this, called this Bechina, knowing you're sitting in front of a king. This is the Nekuda here. This is the Bechina. You're standing in front of the king. I one time went with the Rabbi to this place in Europe. And we saw one of the big kings of Europe, the chair of one of the big kings in Europe. And this is the king sitting there for years, and the king has a special chair. So baby tells me, make Koach Hatzir for Rosh Hashanah. Sitting in front of Hashem, a king. A picture is sitting a king, he's sitting in front of a king. Rosh Hashanah is coming in front of us. You have to know, what is the first step of Rosh Hashanah? Mamlich HaKadosh Baruch Hu, make Hashem the king. You have to picture the king. So how we picture the king? Shivisi Hashem Nigdiktomi. This is the beginning. Prepare yourself for Rosh Hashanah. Prepare yourself now for Rosh Hashanah. Malchus Shamayim is what? Shivisi Hashem Nigdiktomi. Knowing this, and this, not only that, is the klal of the Torah and all the tzaddikim. And then he says, this is the first step. This is the first step, even before we go more. Knowing the negative. Sitting in front of a king is not sitting alone in the house. This is the first step. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's sitting in front of the king. If sitting in front of us, it's not the same. So you cannot, first the first step. So this is the concept. You have to go out of yourself. Out of yourself. Because a person has a nature, taiva vakesh nifrod. A taiva wants to be alone. It doesn't want to feel in front of a king. Taiva gets you, when I'm involved with your taiva, you don't see Hashem, you don't see your friends, you don't see only yourself. You cannot picture Hashem in front of you. You cannot picture. So they're able to picture Shivisi Hashem Nigdiktomi. What you need to get out of yourself. Get out of your taiva. So you have the picture in front of the king. And what it means sit in front of the king? You're meshuba to the king. You're afraid of the king. You're afraid because he has schar boinesh. You have schar boinesh. He's afraid he has a schar boinesh. You know, sit in front of the king, you have punishments and you have reward. So then knowing that, if sitting in front of the king, everything you do has din v'cheshbon. Everything you do has din v'cheshbon. Everything you do has a din v'cheshbon. It's not hefker. It's in front of Hashem. So now, this is the first step. So avoid is before next step of the Amor. The first step of Amor is what? We have to know you're not sitting alone in the house. You're sitting in front of the king. Next step, picture Hashem. Picture Hashem with the picture is next step. But the first avoid is knowing you're sitting in front of the king. Next step, step Hashem, the king, of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Melech Ma'achamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is different. Melech Halotz Kvoidoi sees you, the next step. But first step is what? Is what? Sitting, picture in your mind, picture in yourself, you're sitting in front of the king. And this goes all day. Morning, afternoon, night, going to sleep. 24 hours alone with family. And this and the first klal godol of the tzaddikim, a klal godol of the Torah is Shivisi Hashem Nenigdito. The first step. This is before Yirat Shamayim. This is a step before, as a Gdom Yirat Shamayim. This is not even Gdom, this only put Hashem in the picture. Then Yirat Shamayim is the next step. This is the Gdom. This is the Gdom of So what is the rule? The rule is what? The first step, you're sitting in front of the king, not in front of alone. Hashem is next step. This is the Amos says. First he's front of the king. Next step, boss of Adam. And then go next step, Hashem. First, he says, Shivisi agdik told me ukla godlo batoiro o bamalas tzadikim. Ki ein yeshiva sodom v'yoisel לפני, כי ישיבה עוסק לא עוסק לפני מלך גדול ולא דיבור אוהל וכולי כשו המלך. No, it's not the same. Alone is not like the same for the king. This is the first step. You have to put it into your heart. Next step is the front of Hashem. Kol shekain is already next step. Kol shekain is another thing. Kol shekain, sheyosim aliboy, sheyomer godol, oy medoy v'oy ma'isa. This is kol shekain. But first, get the first step. Kol shekain is very after. You have the promise. You make a kol shekain. But the first step is not standing in front of a king and not alone. Because you only see yourself, you don't see no one else. You only see a person, you don't see Hashem, you only see no one. So again, this is the first step. Now, I want everybody to learn Mussar. Till Mincha, we'll come and learn Mussar now. We'll stop now and learn Mussar. Everybody learn Mussar. Okay, got it? Reb Chaim? Okay.